Good evening, everybody, and now I am recording this video in a very close friend's house, and I want to talk about the legitimacy of astrology with this person who is a male.
That's right.
Yes. Because we both come from the mindset that astrology has more to offer.
And has a lot of validity to it.
Yes, as opposed to being called bogus. Like there's a sizable consensus of people who would.
Certain segment of the population.
Yeah, what's your opinion on that certain segment? Is there a there's a certain type that is more liable to discount the credibility or legitimacy of astrology? Atheists.
As they're called, fedora tippers on certain corners of the internet. Those who think they're so smart and holier than all of their peers, who try to talk down to others because they believe they're the smartest demographic on the planet because they follow what they consider science. However, they only follow certain aspects of science.
Do you know what science, the etymology of the word science in Latin is?
No, I don't.
It means to divide.
Mm-hmm.
Sci, like scissors. Ents. Sci, and the practice of cutting or dividing.
Sounds pretty appropriate in this context, in terms of what they're doing to intellectual discussions.
Etymology, linguistics, that's all very, it's not science, is it? No, but it's a practice. Language.
I think it is considered a science as well. Linguistics is definitely considered a science.
Language is the key aspect here. People don't realize how the words we use have things that you don't even know embedded. Coded language. It's not just a conspiracy, it's in the very words you speak. And you can't take language for granted. Because you really cannot, because you think English is the language that has everything you need to describe everything in the world. When
There's plenty of other languages.
Learn a different language, you start to understand that there are different ways to say things.
That's right. And English wasn't just created by itself. It stems from other previous languages.
Right. So what I'm getting at here is, science versus art. Science is considered to be superior, more credible by some.
By some. Yeah.
And it's all about the facts. Conspiracy is damaging to our society. It's hurting our society.
Though?
Conspiracy theories, conspiratorial views. They are hurting. I am hurting society with my conspiracy.
Doesn't that just mean alternative ideas? Anything outside of a certain belief that's considered the majority on a specific topic. Alternate views that even less than 50% of the population can hold on a certain subject, topic, view, that would fall into conspiracy by that logic, right?
Well, putting that aside, I really doubt that astrology, most people would think that it's hurting society. Most people would probably agree that it is
helpful.
Well, some, yes, but I'm saying the side that's against it, they would consider it to be nonsense, basically. They wouldn't say directly, oh, it's hurting someone or society. They would say, oh, it's just nonsense that you do in
Only
your
the more
spare time.
arrogant people would say that it's hurting
It's
society.
good for social conversations, or it's fun in the moment, but it doesn't have any real factual basis or relevancy to reality. Because basically science goes around these things of proving things false through experiments, and there have been plenty of studies done and tests done, interviewing people, do you feel like your astrological sign? And a lot of people say, no, I don't feel like that describes me at all. And that leads us to a new thing. Mainstream astrology isn't really astrology. It really is just a social event, and it's not about it's just your sun sign, basically. When you go in social circles and ask someone's astrology sign, it's your sun sign. Oh,
the primary sign.
Yeah.
That most people know.
Oh, what's your sign? Gemini. But you wouldn't think I'm really a Gemini because I have extremely other strong influences in my birth chart. You wouldn't identify with your sun sign completely in this case. And those scientific experiments are done without really even understanding astrology as an actual thing. And astrology is the air that I breathe. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be able to understand things that, it helps me understand things better that I see other people have understood.
Helps you navigate the world, especially in terms of relationships.
It gives me something I can grab onto
and use as a tool
and understand for myself, because the way I think isn't the mainstream. My thought process. It's not according to science and logic. It's not according to entertainment and pop. It's not according to measurements and rulers and math. It's a little different. It's more according to linguistics. And that thought process, personalities, is much significantly less in the human population, which is why it makes it very vulnerable to being discredited as a
bogus.
And is there anything else you'd like to say on people of that mind frame? Maybe there's some kind of characterization that is very common among those people. Maybe they have something that they're defensive about.
Yeah, there's a term called nitwit. Relating to nitwit, like a dumb person. Nitwit is someone that's average intelligence, but considers themselves to be the smartest person in the room.
And wouldn't you say that's quite an American thing?
Maybe.
A Western
I haven't
thing.
lived in that many other
to
countries.
Think that their point of view is superior to all others.
I found it common in European countries as well, especially Western European countries.
Yes, but it is also the case that men in America may sometimes. Now, I'm watching my language here, trying to choose my words very carefully. They tend to exclude, especially things like, the East. Especially in later times. It's just this American thing of
their view of doing things is the only valid one.
Yes, it's that. And also, it's
all other
math
alternative
and
views.
Science are superior, and there cannot possibly be any other way of doing things in society except through that method. Because America is superior, period. And no country was ever superior, ever, in the history of the world.
Like I said, that mindset is common in Western Europe as well, especially in Germany and England.
Yes. And where does that lead us? Ignorance.
Back to the midwits.
Ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also noticed a lot of times when I try to converse about these people,
with them or about them?
With them, to explain their beliefs and, try to understand why.
They feel they don't owe you any explanation,
They
right?
don't explain.
They feel that you owe them an explanation as to why your alternative view is valid.
Yes.
While they believe their view is commonly accepted and shouldn't be criticized.
Yeah, and it's usually a very uncomfortable thing for me because I feel like I have a lot to prove, and sometimes I feel like I can't really.
It's also a very entitled attitude. Like, they put you in the conversational position that you're obligated to prove something to them. You're not obligated to prove anything to them.
The thing is, I'm intuitive, and I can sense that. I cannot change their mind from the beginning. So I just kind of try, but I realize, midway, this kind of person will not
learn, or isn't even open.
He does not want to understand.
Or learn something new.
And it's this not wanting to understand that is particularly
egregious,
frightening to me. Because it's one thing if you can't understand, but then when you have the opportunity to understand and you choose not to, why do you
or
think
you view that understanding is beneath you? That's a common attitude
that's
I've noticed.
Also, everybody has their different psychological makeups. But why do you think they can't even venture to entertain the possibility within their heads? To think outside the box, to even try.
It's a textbook definition
because
of being narrow-minded.
They seem smart. They usually can be quite smart people.
Like I said, a lot of them are just completely average intelligence, but believe themselves to be a lot smarter than you are.
Alright, so what about people like Stephen Hawking?
I wouldn't put him into that category to begin with.
I mean, I don't really know anything about him, but I know
he's the type of person who would actually sit down and consider your point of view.
Yes.
He doesn't fit into that category.
Different, right.
He's high intelligence, he's not a midwit.
He would have a conversation about it.
Yeah, absolutely. These people, though,
I'd love to have a conversation with Stephen Hawking, though.
Stephen Hawking up as their ideal in terms of their ideological allies, but they really have nothing in common with him, personality-wise.
Would you think it's some kind of
Arrogance.
a generational thing?
Yeah, I think it might be, but then
Younger
again,
people maybe tend to believe in this more.
Mm-hmm.
Older people tend to discount it.
Yeah.
I noticed that could be the situation. But we're not really getting at the big thing that I'm really trying to understand here is denial. Why pursue it so severely? If we're about understanding things and about discovering the world and about knowledge, you can't really have such an ignorant mind as to say that there is no credence in it. So now let's just talk about astrology as itself. Does it really have no credence? The stars. What do you really know about the stars? What do you really know about the planets? And when I say planets, I say the sun, I say Mercury, I say Venus, I say the moon, I say Mars, I say Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto. And we're not going into anything else yet. But what are they? They're just bubbles in the sky, are they?
Celestial
Bodies.
That's it.
And how long have humans been looking up at the sky? Quite some
Since the
time.
dawn of humanity.
Since the very beginning. So we're just going to say that they're not worth our time at all. Because just because we don't understand it in our structure doesn't mean that there aren't hidden answers in those things. And it might actually be the answers. We are, humanity has
Looking for.
many, many questions. Who is God? What is God? Was there an afterlife? Maybe if we tried to pursue different forms of mind, maybe we wouldn't be so lost as a civilization.
But I honestly don't think we can convert everyone
No,
to
that would be
being
impossible.
open-minded.
That would be impossible.
There's going to be midwits that think they're better than you and smarter than you all the time. So why bother even wasting your energies, words, thoughts, and ideas on those who are completely 0% receptive to them?
And that's the biggest tragedy of them all, is that everything gets lost to silence. All those books, all those works that people may have done in the past. You never hear about them. It's all very unknown. But there is a lot of work out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because you don't find it in Barnes & Noble doesn't mean it hasn't been written about.
Shared with other human beings. Disseminated.
Yes.
Transmitted.
And that's really what I try to do on this channel is, I really want people to understand astrology as a legitimate thing.
As an art or science.
An art or science. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't see how that is a dangerous thing to pursue. Perhaps it is for you, for some people. Perhaps it is offensive.
Well, some people are offended by people having differing opinions with them on any topic.
Right. And then we have our civilization looking like a word for word 1984, more and more each year. And I wonder why nobody realizes that.
Some do.
Yeah, that small handful of people, but it's becoming a reality right before our eyes, and everyone is oblivious to it for the most part. Anyway, I hope this video opened your mind a little more, or maybe just provided you with some casual banter to enjoy in the afternoon. I just thought
I'd share.
Thank you for watching. Peace out.